Seems like there's a lot of stuff going on in America right now because there's a potential farmers' revolt brewing in the U.S. This is something that we haven't really seen so far. We've seen like a truckers boycott, right? We've seen a boycott of some goods here and there, but not really a farmers' boycott in the U.S. Right now, Tennessee rancher and lawyer is suing the Biden administration for failing to appoint the U.S. Farm Credit Administration Board and allegedly leaving many farmers very vulnerable. Now, the Dustin story is losing his home and farm, highlights a failing support system for farmers, and should be calling for immediate action to prevent political exploitation of America's agricultural sector. Let me tell you guys, the U.S. agricultural sector is massive. The amount of farmland that we have compared to other cities is crazy. We have not just farming, we also have like beef, we got seafood, we also got fishing, all that kind of stuff. It's all adding up. But now we're seeing a big pattern here, because farmers revolting is like a really big topic. Like, we can't go through a single day without hearing some sort of farmers boycott or revolt. But it hasn't happened in the U.S., but you already have some farmers getting a little bit frustrated at the current administration. Check out overseas to Poland. Poland's farmers are challenging EU policies with a massive border protest. Polish farmers are protesting against EU farm imports and environmental policies. Now, usually when farmers revolt, they do win, because these are literally the people that supply your grocery stores and the citizens with food. So generally speaking, after a while, the government does cave in to many of the farmers' demands. So it's surprising for a lot of people, because most people think that farmers lose. Not really. In fact, in most cases, when farmers protest, they usually win, and the government usually gives farmers some pretty good incentives afterwards. We're also seeing a pretty big protest happening in India as well. In mid-February, thousands of farmers from rural areas of India were marching their way to New Delhi to demand, for example, minimum price guarantees on their crops. These are very important, especially with rising cost of production. And if you look at what a lot of farmers are saying, there's a lot of exploitation. It gets to a certain point where all of them get really fed up. They unite together, and they basically tell everyone, hey, we need to start things up again. We can't have this keep going on. We're losing a bunch of money, and it's hard. And by the way, the farming life is hard in general, so I kind of see why a lot of farmers in the U.S. right now are feeling a little bit vulnerable, especially if you fail to appoint a Farm Credit Administration Board. And many farmers are a little bit antsy here and there. But right now, the U.S. is already grappling with a massive crisis, so they can't even focus on the farm aspect, considering that we're already seeing a lot of patrols and a lot of migrant stuff happening. We are grappling with one of the biggest crises in the U.S. history, in my opinion, the Migrant Crisis. Migrant Crisis is surging in places like New York City, Chicago, Denver. The cities are actually collapsing. There's already a huge population shift happening in the U.S. Certain cities on the coast are having humongous population decreases, like New York City, 8% population decrease, and most of their people are going to places like Florida, Texas, Nevada, Nashville. So we're seeing this huge shift in terms of population. Can the U.S. get things together right now? I sure hope so. It's a fantastic country, but right now we're grappling with a bunch of things. And guess what? If you're going to be looping in another farmers' revolt, this is going to cause a lot of problems and a lot of headaches for the current administration. Let's see what happens.